Developing mathematics teacher for quality learning for all is the theme here. In this, continuing professional development in mathematics teaching is the theme I have taken, and my sub-theme here is analysis of capacity development for mathematics teachers. First, let us look into the introduction here. The capacity development program for mathematics teachers has become so essential that it should be taken as the starting point for reconstituting the educational system, because teachers are the main who are going to play the role in the school. The policies framed and the changes in the education system and CCE pattern introduced, everything has to be brought into practical situations, and the teachers are the main people to handle it in the classroom situations. Now, two major innovative practices which I have taken care here is teachers' approaches to raising students' achievements and improving student learning in mathematics. Second one is their approaches to increasing teacher capacity. And three main approaches in this regard I have looked into are: first is redefining mathematics teacher roles and responsibilities. Second, making instructions public. And third is having new customizable tools for teaching. Now, the major challenges teachers are facing are: first, what is high quality mathematics instruction and why is it important? Second, how can teachers determine whether they are using an effective mathematics curriculum? Third, what evidence-based maths instructional strategies can teachers employ? Fourth is, how can teacher effectively provide high-quality mathematics instructions? I feel a good mathematics teacher should ask herself or himself the following questions. First is, are there some lessons, chapters, or units that pose difficulties for many learners? How should I add value to these portions of the syllabus? Second, are there some learners who are not challenged by the material and methods and hence lose motivations very quickly? How should I respond to their special needs? Third, is there something in my teaching strategy that has to be modified to make the class learn better mathematics? How should I go about it? Fourth, have I identified, curtailed common errors, mistakes, and instances of lack of conceptual clarity from the information collected and analyzed? How should I go about an effective program of remediation? Fifth, is my classroom time management effective? What are the changes that I could introduce to make it more learner and learning oriented? Sixth, how can I involve all the stakeholders more actively in what I am doing for the benefit of my learners? Last, what are my own needs of professional development? How can I fulfill them in a continuous manner? Now, in this, what all I have worked, these are my just efforts, what I have made for professional development of a teacher. First is the innovative practices in some schools encourage good teaching by focusing on the types of instructional tasks that teachers can use for differentiating instructions to meet the diverse needs of the students. Some students may be lacking language comprehension, some may be lacking computational skill, some may be lacking, they must be doing some careless mistakes. So there are diverse needs of students. Encourage the use of academic vocabulary and by providing various entry points for students to learn the mathematical concepts. Now, language is a big problem. Suppose I'm coming from Muradabad, that is UP. So the schools at rural areas, their teachers are speaking in Hindi, teaching in Hindi, and same NCERT books are being taught, but they are teaching in a different way, not the way we are doing it. So language is a big problem there. In case they don't teach in Hindi there, the child will not understand. So teacher has to come down to that level also. The main aim is the child should understand. So language is very important here. Then teachers should also analyze case studies and videos that show a range of teaching styles in order to better understand some obstacles to their own as well as their students' understanding. Teachers should receive training in assessment development and the concepts of assessment for learning, which helps them understand how assessment can provide the information they need to improve their practices. In Kendriya Vidyalayas, we have cluster level evaluation of copies. We had it for 9th and 11th. Now at present it is for class 11. Teachers only teach in the school, but the papers are set at the regional level and also evaluated at cluster level. Their common pattern of evaluating the copies is decided beforehand and the assessment of the copies is done. I feel that is a better way of evaluating, that is avoiding so many types of partialities and other some factors which teachers may develop with a student while teaching, maybe because of some happenings. So that is taken care if it is the copies are evaluated by some other examiner. He is expert in the subject, so any teacher can evaluate the copy. So that should be the criteria. Assessment should be done in a proper way. Fifth is, for further capacity development programs, the leadership opportunities can be organized within a large group of teachers consisting of urban and rural CBSE schools. Sixth is, making instruction public means deprivatization instruction, which is a powerful means for changing teachers' practice. Fifth point here, see, for further capacity development programs, the leadership opportunities should be there. I have seen very enthusiastic teachers even in villages. They are enthusiastic, but the problem with them is they have never been taught in that way which we expect them to teach. The way they were taught, they are teaching in the same way. Now, if we want them to perform better, we should give them proper professional development courses. Only then we can expect. What is their fault? The teacher taught them in that pattern and they are continuing in the same pattern. Now when we told them, when we asked them to do it, they took interest and they came forward with alternate solutions to their better classroom situations. And in the sixth point, making instruction public is very important. If you take it in a collaborative way and not evaluative way, if somebody is coming and suggesting me, madam, this is not the proper way of teaching. This topic you could have taught with the PowerPoint presentation, or you must have used some other teaching method, or this class I had taken in a activity-based method, that was a better option, you should follow this. So what should be my attitude towards it? I should welcome that suggestion. Instead of taking a negative attitude towards it, I should go with a positive attitude. Yes, it's a good suggestion. Next time I'll try to follow the same which you have suggested. This should be the main aim of this point here, making instructions public. Suppose some mentor or facilitator, my vice principal or principal comes and suggests me some method, I should take it as a positive advice. Then, making instructions public allows teaching and learning to be captured in multiple ways from multiple sources, giving teachers regular feedback so that they can continually work on improving their teaching. Then we have ThinkQuest at KV, digital diary, e-portal of NROER, that is National Repository of Open Education Resources. They are the major platforms for teacher making instruction public. KVS has immensely been benefited by such interventions from IT companies like Oracle, Intel Corporation and Microsoft Corporation. KVS has also issued guidelines for the teachers in order to make full use of portals. At every KV, we are having 2 teacher administrators and principal is also there to just monitor what all teachers have uploaded. In fact, we have been given instructions to upload minimum 5 pages in that. Every teacher has supposed to upload at ThinkQuest. Some schools in North India have teachers observe each other with a structured observation protocol and provide feedback in monthly learning communities. And some boarding schools in Doon Valley of Uttarakhand state they have a goal of getting rid of walls of classrooms and building a culture of openness, sharing among teachers, students and parents. The hope is that teachers will seek out and share best practices with each other in the ongoing effort to improve work with students. Then, such meetings have helped encourage teachers to stop working in isolation and to open their classrooms and their practices to general observation. I should never feel that nobody should watch my class. I should in fact welcome my colleagues and I should ask them what could have been my better performance and what suggestions I should be taking into account for further classes. They use data to promote discussions with teachers about how to learn from these observations, experiences, the culture surroundings. These observations is of course collaborative and not evaluative. Some public schools of NCR, they have also embedded into the teaching culture a teacher feedback and evaluation system that includes regular observations by mentors, peers, and supervisors. We in KV, I think so many teachers of KV are sitting here. Our principals and vice principals, they come to our class, they have a class observation format, they fill up. In that, the points like what teaching aids were used by the teacher, has the teacher corrected the copies timely, has she planned her lesson properly, was her class very interactive, interesting, these type of things are there and they are supposed to mention their suggestions and later we are made to note down. That also brings in a good professional development in our own self if we take it again in a positive manner. Now, at the beginning of the year, here teachers must set goals using a summative rubric as a guide. Now, the rubric may cover the 4 dimensions: classroom management and culture, instructional planning and delivery, social responsibilities and social value systems. This detailed rubric helps observers identify the areas in which teachers need the most help and support, which enables them to customize mentoring and coaching in the feedback to help improve teacher pedagogy. Throughout the year, teachers receive feedback from their peers, from supervisors, and from students. At the end of the school year, the summative rubric, along with their course material, program on development goals, self-evaluations, self-reflections, and administrator reflections, students' performance, and students' feedback is also used to evaluate a teacher's performance. In all the schools like Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, Navodaya Vidyalaya Samiti, APAR annual performance appraisal reports are maintained on the similar pattern. In this also, there are points like what are the professional courses you have attended during this academic year. Such type of points are there which is again reminding a teacher of her responsibilities. Is she missing out that since 4 years or 5 years, then she need a review. So such type of things are maintained in APAR. I think that is also a good point for any teacher to keep in touch. For the conclusion here, cluster level educational leaders can work with those teachers who have lower than average performance in teaching. Teachers, those who are not very good, like they may be because of the new entrants, or maybe they are coming from the rural background. Classification of students, like weak students, bright students in maths, may be color coded to give teachers a visual snapshot of where students need the most help and remedies. It is only for teacher. She is not going to point out, but it is for her own reference. Which student is little bright and the other one who is weak in the studies. Cluster will have flexibility to further customize the system to improve its usefulness as a tool to inform teacher practices. Here you can see some pictures, so watch them carefully.